first YouTube video. Hi everyone, welcome to Zagami Beauty. My name is Krisha. So this video, it's been a long time coming. My first inaugural, I guess you can call, YouTube video, and I'm really excited to have finally started on this journey. And I think, it's definitely been a long time coming, and I think we're in some really challenging times right now, and sometimes it takes challenging times and sometimes it takes adversity to grow as a person. And I do believe that having this time to think about a lot of things that are going on, as well as some self-reflection, I've really come to the conclusion that, amongst other things, this is one of the decisions I've made, is to finally start filming and creating content that really means a lot to me. And I've always liked beauty. I've always liked makeup and skincare, and since the moment I can remember doing my makeup, which was probably my late teens, to the moment where I could start affording makeup on a larger scale, which is when I finished university. So I think for as long as I feel like I've been an adult, I've really enjoyed the beauty industry as well as health, and that's sort of where my background is as well, is in the health industry. And I feel like tying those two things in really is interesting, and it's really a unique way to approach beauty. So while I do still enjoy makeup, and that's just of course enhancing your beauty from the outside, I also feel there's so much importance into creating maybe beauty but starting from the inside, and so being aware of how certain things can actually affect our outer beauty but from the inside out. So definitely a lot of things I want to cover as I grow this channel and as I continue on this journey. For today, I want to do a really kind of easy get ready with me, just to kind of dip my toes in the water. And it's going to be pretty much a video about what I would do on a typical day. I have two young children, 4 and 2 girls, and they keep me busy, of course, and I do maintain part to full-time work, so I'm definitely busy, but I still like to be put together. So I have makeup looks that I do for work. I also have an everyday makeup look that I do when I'm at home. Usually in the morning I do start off with skincare and sunscreen if I'm going to be especially out with the girls during the morning time. I don't usually put any makeup on until they're napping or resting in the early afternoon, and that gives me a little bit of me time to finally enjoy my coffee, maybe have some music on, and then do a quick makeup look at that point. So that's what we're doing today. I do want to have you guys get to know me over the next, obviously, while, and so we'll be doing a little bit of a chatty get ready with me, and let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I would do, even before I do my makeup, like I said, is I would have my sunscreen on, which I think is so important. I will discuss this obviously in another video. I'm not going to focus on it too much in this one, but that I would put on first thing in the morning before anything, or just after my skincare, just to make sure I'm protected if I'm going to be outside. Winter, summer, fall, spring, doesn't matter. Your face needs the protection all year round, definitely. That's where we first start noticing the signs of aging, because our face is always exposed, like I said, all seasons. So with the makeup, I've been really loving a very light base. So I don't put on a full face of foundation if I'm going to be at home, but I've been liking these two in combination. They're actually two concealers. So I do love the Dior Forever Correct or Skin Correct concealer. And I use this in shade 2N, which I think is a great all-around color, so I can use it under my eyes as well as the rest of my face to kind of cover where I need to. And then I've been really liking the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation. I have the color 5. It's not the best color for me. I just bought it online, so it's a bit too neutral, which I didn't think that was a thing, but I feel like it's too neutral. So it kind of goes a bit gray cast on me if I use it alone. But in combination, it's a bit lighter than the Dior, so I do find in some spots it just kind of highlights some of my features a little bit, and I still like the glow it gives, so I've been using those too. So I'm going to put this on basically just where I need the coverage. So we're going to put it under my eyes, around my nose, and just wherever I have some blemishes. So I do have a nice friend there, A little bit of sunspots here and there, but nothing crazy. So just in those areas, and maybe a little swipe just to even things out all over. And then I'm going to put the Armani just where I want to highlight a bit because it is lighter. So just on the high points of my face, maybe the middle of my forehead, down my nose a little bit, chin, and probably just my smile lines just to sort of bring those out a bit. I'm going to mush this together with a foundation brush or a bit of like a kabuki brush first, just to sort of do a rough blend. And then I'm going to go in with a sponge just to kind of do a final blend. So this is just to sort of pounce it in. My under eyes, this doesn't really get under there, so I'm just going to leave those to use with my sponge. So just a very rough blend. Again, we're not doing anything too precise. And then I'm going to take my sponge and just blend it all in. I have my tiny one to go under my eyes. We'll just do that. Finally getting some spring where I am, which is so refreshing because our winter just dragged. It wasn't the hardest winter. I live in Canada, so we do get obviously our fair share of winters and snow and all that good stuff. We didn't have a very rough winter, but it just dragged out. Like March and April, just wow, did it drag out. So that wasn't fun, but I think it's finally over and we're getting some nice weather. So it's really nice going out with the girls now and just spending time doing outdoor activities. I'm going to set this with my favorite under eye setting powder, which is the Guerlain Meteorites powder. They did change it. It's not like the mosaic look anymore. I think it's now in like a quad of colors, but we'll see. Once this is done, I'm going to get that one, of course. But it's just the most sheer, it doesn't have a lot of weight to it, powder. So I just take a little bit on a soft brush and I just put that underneath my eyes to set it. So again, it's not obviously any coverage to this. It's just a very light powder, more of a finishing powder, but I find it sets the under eye beautifully. The only negative with that is it creates hard pan. So you do have to take a spoolie and just kind of brush it across the hard pan every once in a while once it gets that little glaze over top of it. Set the rest of my face. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in number 1 Fair. I'm very late to the game with this one. So I just got this in a kit. She had a 20% off sale on some kits and this was in the kit and I love it. I think it's so pretty for just every day. I do set my T-zone more than anything else. And then I sometimes just go over lightly tapping the rest of the area, but mostly my T-zone. Really enjoying this product. So what we're going to do next is just do the brows really quick. I don't do too much. My brows have really grown back really well in the last 2 years. I account for just a lot of the supplements I've been taking and the care I've been taking with my brows. So I definitely will go over what I've been doing just to let you guys know what's helped me in some video down the road. For today, we're just, like I said, quick get ready with me. So I'm going to use the MAC brow pomade. This is in the color Begil, and it's just it's called Brow Set, and it's a tinted brow set. So I'm just going to brush up those brow hairs just to get a little bit of a shape and some texture. I do have light features for the most part, so I do feel like I need to define them with a bit of shading, whether it's a bit of like a brow color to my brows, or a little bit of liner or mascara, or else my features do get a little bit lost. So that's pretty easy. I just kind of go over it, brush up those hairs, create some definition. I then use a pen, a brow pen, and this is the one by MAC as well. This is the Shade and Shape brow pen, I believe. It's rubbed off now. I've had it for a while. But this one, I just kind of put those little hairs just in the middle, some hair strokes in the middle of my brow. It hasn't fully grown in there yet. So I just create some hair strokes, and this is really great. I just creating some nice natural hair strokes. And then I just repeat on the other side. And that just fills in sort of that middle part of my brow. Then I go with the third product. yeah, it's a bit excessive, but we all know, we've all been there with brow products. It's definitely an obsession, but it's so important. It really does frame the face, and so brows are truly, truly important. And then I take the pencil and I just fill in my tail. So I lightly just fill in and create a little bit of an extension on my tail. And then I just repeat. And that just creates that little bit of a sharper extension on it. Then I go over with the best pomade that exists. I've tried a few others, and this is just the most stay in place brow finishing pomade ever, gel. And this is the one by Benefit, the 24-hour brow setter. Your kids can kiss you, they can smush your face, they can rub their hands all over you, they can, you know, be hugging you, and your face is a disaster, your makeup's probably all over the place or whatnot, but your brows look perfect. Like, your brows look perfect. So this I just run over, creating a little bit of a bushier effect at the front, and then just slightly kind of a little bit more sleek on the sides. I'm talking, so that's why it's taking me a lot longer to do this, but this honestly can take me as little as 10 minutes to do if I'm not doing anything with my eyes, or as much as 15 minutes if I'm doing a little bit more of an eye look. So it is pretty quick. The next thing I do is usually something with my eyes. So I'm not going to be doing too much of an eye look today. Sometimes I will use that little eyeshadow quad. I don't usually pull out a massive palette. It's just too overwhelming for me for daytime looks. So I'll put out, because I don't know if this is you guys, but I feel if I have a palette with 12 plus colors, I feel like I need to use at least half of them. I don't know, it's a mental thing. So I'll usually pull out a quad. If it's gonna be on a day-to-day look, I'll pull out a quad, and then I'm not too overwhelmed, and I don't feel bad about not using at least half of it, because there's only 4. So even if I use 4, it's still only 4, and it still looks natural. So I'll do that sometimes. Today I'm just gonna be doing a little bit of bronzer in the crease, and then I'm gonna be lining my eyes, and that is it. So the bronzer I like to use, and I'm really excessive with layering my bronzers lately. I don't know why. I posted this on my Instagram, which I'm definitely going to put somewhere that you can follow me on. And I did post a picture with 3 bronzers, and I do feel that using more than one bronzer, especially for mixing a cream bronzer in that, gives you the most natural look. So I've been doing is first using a little bit more of like a shading contouring bronzer. It's not a contour, it's still a bronzer, but I do contour with it-ish. So Marc Jacobs, this is not the Tantastic, which everyone was obsessed with. That did not work on me. For some reason, that, again, it was too neutral, and it just didn't work on my skin tone. I have a neutral skin tone, but I can't use anything too neutral on top, or else it just doesn't enhance anything. This is Tantalize. It came out last year. It is quite a lot darker than the other 2 bronzers, but with the right brush, a nice fluffy natural haired brush, it does give you a really nice sort of contoured bronze look. So I just take a little and I just go over where I would kind of bronze or slightly more of a contour, so not all over like I do with my bronzer at the end of the makeup, but just kind of on those really peripheral points, and then just kind of sweeping it down. And it does create just a slight shadow. It's not too cool toned, it's not too warm toned. It can go dark very fast with a brush that picks up too much product and doesn't disperse. This one is really fluffy, and it's not rough, it's really quite soft, but it's a natural hair bristle. So it is a little bit more rough than a synthetic bristle, and I feel that's just a good thing in this case because it doesn't pick up too much product, but it really blends it well. So again, just kind of creating a slight contour effect and then just going down the neck. You can go more or less. I'm in some pretty bright lights right now, so I feel like I need more than I would normally in my bathroom, but that's okay. So I feel like that's pretty good, creating a little bit of a shadow. Then I go in with a cream bronzer, and that just kind of creates a nice base, and I kind of put that, again, more in that typical bronzer zone, and then also just kind of all over, and that creates a nice base for my other products to layer on top of. So I'm using the Chanel Tan de Soleil. This is the original version. The new one came out recently. It does have coconut oil in it. I saw a video by Mel Thompson when it first came out, and as soon as she reviewed it, and she let us all know that it has coconut oil in it, I called stores, and not many things are open now, of course, so I checked online, all sold out. I called some stores, and I found the last one at a Shoppers Drug Mart, because they do carry Chanel now. in some of the shoppers, and so I was able to have her hold it for me. So thank you, Mel, for being so early on that, because I would have just assumed it was going to be the same. There was no indication they were going to change the formula. So this I'm just putting, again, mostly in that typical bronzer area, which is that 3 that Guerlain likes to do. But some of it I am putting sort of in. Whatever's kind of remaining on the brush, I'm putting sort of in the gaps where I didn't focus on initially. I do find putting a cream on first, and then a powder version of that product on top. So a cream bronzer and then a powder bronzer on top, a cream blush and then a powder blush on top. It just creates a beautiful effect. You get the natural effect of the cream product, but then you get the staying power of the powder being put on top. And as long as you're working with thin layers, it does turn out 99% of the time. Not all products allow you to do this, but for the most part, it does work and it looks beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to do is just, again, I should have done my eyes. I usually like to do that first before I go into my skin products. So I'll just put a little bit of that bronzer, that first Marc Jacobs one, in the crease, just to create some definition. I'll repeat that here. Nothing crazy, but it just enhances that eye, and it ties in the bronze that you have on your face. Then I go in and I line my eyes, and I think this is important for me. I don't have a ton of, like I said, definition in around my eyes or my lashes or my brows. I just don't have that. My girls do. They got lucky. They got my husband's sort of darker features, so they have a lot of natural definition around their eyes that I truly feel like they're not going to ever need any enhancement with makeup. But of course it's fun, so they will, but they're lucky that way. They have those kind of darker features that can kind of bring out that the eye and stuff. So I'm going to use Carbon by MAC. So MAC eyeshadow called Carbon, oldie but a goodie, and I'm just going to use a liner brush, and I'm just going to line my eyes in that first sort of third and the outer third, and that's just going to create a beautiful, more of a cat eye sleek shape to my eyes. I have really bulbous round eyes, and this just creates definition and a really, really pretty shape. So I went a little bit over because I'm nervous, man. My hands are shaking. Like, it's good I'm not a surgeon, because yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing. Wow. Okay. So that's just sort of creating a little bit more, sort of screwed up in the middle there, but just kind of creates a little bit more of a almondy cat eye shape slightly, which I like. So again, I'm just going to do it on the other side. So just that inner part, just kind of line that inner part of the eye, and then just that outer part. This is a trick I do, like I said, just to create a little bit more of a defined eye. I think it's pretty. Next, I'm going to just curl my lashes, put on some mascara, and we're pretty much done with the eyes. Danger with this, okay. But without curling your lashes, you just don't get the same effect. Okay, I'm going to be using just any black mascara. I'm still trying to work through my MAC mascara. This is the, I forget what it's called, Upward Lash. This got discontinued actually a while ago, and I'm really sad about it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't think it's available anymore. But it just creates enough definition and enough volume for the day. It's nothing crazy, but just like I said, enough to enhance the eye. And you want something that, of course, is not going to just rub off super quick. So that's pretty much everyone doesn't want a mascara that smudges, and this one doesn't. It holds the curl, creates enough volume, and easy to put on with just one layer. Next, we're going to go in blush. I'm going to use a cream blush. Like I said, I'm layering cream and then powder. I really like that effect. I'm using a MAC blush. It's quite an old product. I just stocked up when they discontinued this. It's blossoming, so old in their line. So I just opened up a new one. I'm down to, I think, 2 of them, which makes me sad. So they're old cream blush formula, but you can use any cream blush. I know Fenty just came out with some I really want to try. Clarins has a duo stick cream blush. There's quite a few different cream blushes out in the market, which I will definitely explore and talk about in future videos because I do feel that cream blush does give a really natural effect. So for the day, I'm just going to be putting it on, stippling, slightly, you know, blending. So I'm just using a small stipple brush. And just all over the cheeks. I just want to look really, really fresh and kind of youthful. Top of the nose, sides, whatever's left over. So I'm not doing any kind of extra like contouring with my blush or doing anything too crazy, just kind of all over. Then I take a blush sort of topper, and I'm using the Natasha Denona Duo Glow. This one is in Rayo. So just really, really pretty. She just came out with a mini blush, I think in Bloom. That would be beautiful too. I find her formulas work really well when you layer creams and powders on top. So just blush brush, a little bit firmer kabuki. I kind of start by stippling and then just kind of blending a little bit to the edges, into the hairline. And just, yeah, up the temples, a little bit on the nose. So I'm just repeating on the other side and stippling that blush on first a little bit and then just kind of blending away and up. And again, it's not patchy, it looks natural. The cream blush underneath just creates a beautiful lit from within glow, and then you add the topper and it just kind of holds it in place but gives you a really, really natural effect. So I'll take some of this bronzer, and this is the Marc Jacobs Tantric. And this bronzer I'll just put on a fluffy brush. And again, I'm just going to do a typical bronze effect. And I'm just going to kind of go over kind of everywhere, focusing, of course, on the high points because that's where the sun would mostly hit you. But again, just kind of going over and blending out some of those edges. And if you go in thin layers, so you have the right brush, it's not like a brush that picks up too much product at once, it can really look pretty because it just fills in those areas that maybe don't have product or different intensities of product, and then you just kind of fill in the gaps and blend it, and it looks so seamless. So that's what I would do there. I would probably still take my eyeshadow brush, maybe more of a firm one. I would take some of that bronzer, the first one, and just kind of lightly put some of it underneath my eyes just to create, again, that definition. I do have pretty bad under eye circles, and for some reason doing this makes those look less obvious. So again, it's creating shadow right by the eye versus the shadow. So your eye's tricking, it's looking at your eye more because you're creating quite a bit more shadow just underneath the eyeball. And so you kind of makes your eyes pop, right? Versus focusing on the shadow that's further down in your eye bag. So I think it's just an illusion because it does really work. And then I'll just kind of look back. I'll just kind of play a little bit more like we all do. We always add more here and there. I will probably just add a little bit of a brown liner just again on the edges. I don't like to close my eye in. I just want to add a little bit of liner just on that outer edge maybe, just to create a little bit of a definition there. And again, just maybe on the edge there. Yeah, that's good. I'm not going to put any lower mascara on if it's a windy day or whatnot. Even though I do find my lower mascara is good and resistant to a lot of elements, I don't need it for a daily basis. I think this is just good enough. I will put a highlighter on, and that is just more for fun because I do find this blush is quite highlighting, but I'm going to put a highlighter on. I'm going to use the Hourglass Ambient or Metallic Strobe Lighting Palette. This product was limited edition 2 years ago during Christmas. They just re-released it and I missed out on it the first time around. I think 2 years ago I would have been on mat leave, so maybe I felt guilty buying more makeup. I think it was during the sale, but I probably didn't want to go too crazy during that time. So I got it this time around and I'm really glad I did. It's absolutely beautiful. It's intense but still quite natural because it just lays on the skin so beautifully, and it doesn't give you any sparkle or glitter effect, so it's nice for daytime. It just gives you a beautiful sheen. So I'll use the two lighter colors. and just put a little bit on the high points. This blush already is quite highlighting in itself, so you don't need a ton of product for a day, but highlighter just makes me happy. Like, I'm sure it does a lot of people. So I'll just put a little bit on, and why not? Glowing is youthful for sure. So that's done. I'll finish off with a lip product, and 99% of the time it's going to be a lip glow by Dior, and I have these in so many colors. They came out with some of the swirl colors, which are the Glow Max, I think, or Max Glows. I have a bunch of those, which I definitely will probably do a little bit of a video on just the Dior glows alone, because the lip glows are beautiful. This is the color Raspberry. So I'll just put this on, and it's really moisturizing. It has a nice scent to it, quite natural vanilla, slightly minty, like just barely minty. And it's just so pretty. So pretty. You don't need a liner. You can put this on and not worry about needing a liner. And it's just a nice enhancing product. And that is it. So pretty simple if I wasn't talking as much as I do. But still a really, I think, youthful, fresh look. You feel put together. It's fun to put on, and we just need that time for ourselves, of course, during the day, whether or not we're moms, whether or not we're, working. It's just having some time for yourself. And I do feel makeup has the ability to make us feel good. So this is it for today. I'm really, really excited to continue growing this channel and going on this journey. I'm glad I finally did it. This was probably the hardest thing to do, is just to film the first video. And so I'm really glad I did. I really want to venture into more, of course, makeup, skincare, health type supplements, or health related topics. It is something that, all these things are close to my heart, and I do feel like it's giving me the ability, and hopefully the ability, to bring the creative side out of me. And we're not defined by just, our jobs, or our, the fact that if we're moms or wives or whatnot. We're so much more than just one of those titles. We're a combination of everything. And I do feel really happy and excited to finally have done this. So thanks again for joining me. Peace and love to you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.